Journalists being embedded in the military has been a particularly controversial subject over the last decade since the US invasion of Iraq. But is it the best way to get important information to the public, or is it time for a rethink?
NATO forces are preparing to deploy in support of United Nations Security Council Resolution 5167, which authorizes sending a multinational force to Northeast Titan. This NATO force is expected to be a major step in bringing peace and stability to the region.
Okay, Titan isn't a real country, and 5167 isn't a real UN Security Council resolution. It is in fact a week-long training exercise performed by the Dutch military, and journalism students from Windesheim University are going along to find out what it's really like to be embedded.
Well, I don't really know how the army handles with a journalist being there, so I wonder how they, if they're open about the whole thing. I'm really excited about it. It's like a boy's dream coming true to go to the army and help people and have guns and tanks and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and it's a little vacation, and yeah, I'm feeling thrilled.
I expect a lot of hard work. How far can you go with someone from the army? Sometimes you have to back off, I guess, but sometimes you can push them a little bit to get that special story, I think.
We're going now to the training area where we are deployed at the moment for this week, where we have our final training exercise. It takes place within a scenario, a fictional scenario, which is located in Eastern Africa, where an unstable country, where government is in need of extra support from the UN. So we are deployed there as part of the UN force. As we speak, an earthquake has taken place.
The Committee to Protect Journalists, or CPJ, states that anyone who embeds with any of the armed forces is typically required to travel with the unit as ordered and avoid doing anything to compromise the safety or reveal the location of the unit. Critics suggest that embedment restricts a journalist's ability to report objectively. Patrick Cockburn, a Middle East correspondent for British newspaper The Independent, argues that embedment limits a journalist's movement and location, while also leading them to reflect only the viewpoint of the military. The CPJ has also documented a number of disputes regarding embedded journalists, such as restricted access to those whose reporting is considered unfavourable. However, others argue that the trade-off for the protection, food and shelter offered to embedded journalists in potentially volatile and dangerous surroundings is a reasonable price to pay.
Well, it is yet if they don't want you to hear something, you won't. They're really, our teacher went in a few times to just get a cup of coffee. She didn't want coffee, she just wanted to hear if something would happen. So you don't hear a lot. And if we want to go to the airport, they have to bring us. But if they can't bring us, we just can't go. So you have to rely on them. So that's, minus point.
I prefer embedded more than not embedded. And in this way I can facilitate the journalist and show him around and let him see in what kind of conditions my personnel is working. And that gives him a possibility to give a more representative article or view.
They have really good answers written in their head, and they know that they have to if they have all the answers ready. So if I ask them something, they'll give a really good political answer, but not a real answer.
In my opinion, it's not 100% objective, otherwise it would be science. And in that case, the more information and feel I can give him, the better he has a situational understanding, and in that way he can give a more representative picture to the rest of the world.
On the way to the hospital, there has happened something, but I really don't know what.
there's a higher security code. That's why we're wearing this vest. He still has to put his on. Also, we're not allowed to go outside of the gate in one car. We always have to be in twos.
So as you can see over there, there's a follow-up car who is following us for extra security. Is that?
As part of the training, scenarios designed to challenge both the soldiers and the journalism students take place at various locations, such as here at the hospital. Patients are going untreated and there is a heightened security risk. Suddenly, midway through an interview, the journalists are rushed into the car and evacuated from the scene, following reports that the area could come under attack. The journalists make their way to the airport, where there have been reports of a disturbance. The area is secure, so a higher level of clearance is needed in order for them to gain access.
I would say welcome. You're at the airport. This is my facility. We are race 8. You can see on the other side of the forest there is the airport. We have a small setup here. I will show you around and make it comfortable there where I can.
Following a tour of the facilities, news comes through that an officer wants to drop out. The military arrange a meeting with the officer in an attempt to change his mind, and Raoul wants a one-to-one interview. However, refugees unexpectedly appear in the forest, desperate for food, water and cigarettes. In what may appear to be a heartless act, the officers are forced to reject the appeals of the refugees, as they simply don't have the supplies. The whole event is captured by the journalists at the scene. It's a similar story at the front gates of the facility, where other civilians have flocked, desperately searching for goods.
They're asking for food because of the earthquake. They don't have food at all. But at that moment, the officer that was standing at the gate got his lunch packet. So he just got food, bread, an apple, and he said, "No, I don't have food." But then, yeah, that happened. So we confronted him with it. He says, "Yeah, I want to give them food, but I can't because if I give them, I have to give the others." So it was a good story, and we just asked about the lieutenant so he could give more explanation about how everything works.
With the training exercise complete, the soldiers were treated to an exclusive viewing of the material produced by the journalism students, their first opportunity to watch, analyse and critique the work. The response is largely positive, as the soldiers appear to enjoy the viewing. Having worked alongside the military for 1 week, has the students' opinion of embedded journalism changed at all?
Well, that's a difficult question. Yeah, I think it did change because, well, we did it ourselves, so we know a bit how it's going. Yeah, I think a bit more positive about it. It's you do get protection, but you aren't really affected by them of the things you show on the TV. So yeah, you can still be an objective journalist.
Embed media with military units somewhere abroad, there will always be some kind of fraternization between those two. And it used to be the other way around, that the military and the media didn't really mix well. If you consider footage from Vietnam and, well, everything about atrocities and the military, kind of damaged the relation between the media and the military. But nowadays, what we've seen in Afghanistan, in Iraq as well, it has improved, and you might as well just keep working on that relation between the media and the military, just to get a better image of what the military actually is. But the bottom line is, we are all people.
The debate regarding embedment is likely to continue for a long while yet. While there are the obvious benefits of protection, food, shelter and exclusive access to frontline stories, they may come at the expense of gaining other perspectives or being used as a tool to tell the stories that the military wants telling. One thing is certain, the next generation of journalists hoping to work in the field will have an important and difficult decision to make.